Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we sift through the noise, stack up our sources, and pull out those essential nuggets of knowledge, the surprising facts, the profound insights, and occasionally the stories so unbelievable they feel like urban legends. Today we're plunging into one such tale, a moment in sports history that genuinely sounds like the wild premise of a movie you'd never believe.
Indeed. It poses a fascinating question, doesn't it? What happens when you blend, say, economic despair, the deep-seated rivalry of two baseball teams, and an almost limitless supply of incredibly cheap beer?
Sounds like a setup for something bad.
Exactly, like a cautionary fable. But on June 4th, 1974, in Cleveland, Ohio, this was not a hypothetical. It was a very real, very volatile experiment. And the answer, as we'll soon discover, was pure, unadulterated chaos, broadcast live across the nation.
That's right. Our deep dive today is into the infamous 10-cent beer night. And this isn't just a story about a bad baseball promotion, not really. It's a fascinating look at crowd psychology, the deep-seated frustrations of a city, and the astonishingly unpredictable nature of human behavior when inhibitions are dramatically, almost spectacularly lowered.
Our mission today, really, is to meticulously unpack the specific, almost perfect storm of circumstances that led to this, well, catastrophic event.
Right.
We'll trace the extraordinary chain of events as they unfolded, detailing the escalating fan behavior from just unruly to outright riotous.
We'll look at the reactions, too, right? The bizarre reactions from everyone involved.
Yeah.
The players, the umpires.
Oh, yeah. The league, even the local press. It's quite a story.
And maybe most importantly, we're going to dissect the truly ironic legacy of 10-cent beer night. We'll explore the business lessons that should have been learned, and perhaps the profound lack thereof, emerging from one of the most infamously ill-conceived events in the annals of sports history.
It's a wild journey, sometimes darkly humorous, sometimes just dark.
It is. And you, our curious listener, are right there with us, ready to peel back the layers of this extraordinary night.
So where do we start? Cleveland, 1974.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let's cast our minds back to Cleveland in 1974. Because understanding the city's mood and circumstances is absolutely foundational to grasping how something as seemingly innocuous as a 10-cent beer promotion could devolve into such pandemonium.
Yeah.
This wasn't a city basking in prosperity. It was a city very much in a rough patch.
That's putting it mildly. The socioeconomic backdrop of Cleveland in June 74 is, as you say, critical. Historical accounts from the era, they describe this pervasive atmosphere of gritty blue-collar malaise tinged with the lingering scent of industrial runoff and disappointment.
Wow, that paints a picture.
It does.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just poetic phrasing. This was a tangible reality for many residents. The city was struggling with widespread economic downturns.
So like real hardship.
Oh, yeah. We're talking about significant industrial decline, factory closures, rising unemployment rates.
Okay.
It left a deep impact on the working-class families who were really the backbone of the city.
So you've got this palpable sense of civic frustration, maybe disillusionment.
Absolutely. When a city is facing that kind of economic hardship, when the daily grind feels less like progress and more like just survival, what kinds of distractions do people crave?
Escapism, right. Anything to forget.
Exactly. You can imagine that potent desire for escapism, that yearning for something, anything, to momentarily break the monotony or to provide a sort of cathartic release from mounting anxieties.
It makes sense. Economic struggle often translates into needing to forget your troubles, even just for a few hours.
Precisely. And when individuals feel that sense of frustration or, disempowerment in their everyday lives, they can become significantly more susceptible to emotional triggers in other contexts.
It's like a baseball game.
Right. A sporting event in this atmosphere, it stops being just a game. It becomes a potential arena for the release of pent-up emotions. So this backdrop of civic anxiety meant that the crowd was already sort of primed for a high degree of emotional investment, maybe bordering on a volatile collective release.
That's interesting. So the city's mood is low. And then you look at the team. The Cleveland Indians, they weren't exactly lifting spirits, were they?
No. Historical records are pretty unequivocal. The team was consistently terrible. They were losing a lot year after year.
Which always presents that dilemma for a sports franchise, doesn't it? If the team's bad.
Attendance suffers massively. Accounts from the time highlight low attendance that barely cracked a few thousand per game, sometimes even less.
Just empty seats everywhere.
Empty seats and even lower morale permeating the clubhouse itself. It's that vicious cycle. A bad team means sparse crowds, which means less revenue, dampens enthusiasm, makes it harder to attract talent.
Leads to an even worse team, potentially.
It's a real uphill battle to maintain any fan engagement when the product on the field consistently fails to deliver wins or even, competitive play.
You can almost taste the desperation from the team's management. I mean,
Yeah.
fewer than 5,000 people sometimes in a stadium built for over 70,000.
Right. They were truly grasping at straws for any solution, any gimmick to entice people through those turnstiles. The stands were typically quiet, echoing with emptiness.
Amplifying the city's mood, maybe.
Exactly. That general feeling of disappointment, of being overlooked, they needed something drastic, something undeniable.
And this convergence of factors, a struggling city, a losing team, desperate management, creates the perfect crucible, you called it.
It really did. The core problem was clear. How do you convince people to spend their limited money and time to come watch a team that offers little hope in a city that's already feeling bruised?
And that question, that desperation, that leads us right to the idea.
The idea, 10-cent beer night.
And so we arrive at the brilliant idea itself, the supposed solution to Cleveland's baseball woes, 10-cent beer night. I mean, really, you wish you could have been in the room when they pitched this.
Oh, absolutely. It sounds like satire. But from a purely economic and promotional standpoint, the concept was designed to be, well, overwhelmingly attractive.
The specifics are simple.
Yeah, it's incredibly simple. 12-ounce cups of Stroh's beer, popular local brand, for a mere 10 cents.
Okay, let's really pause on that. The normal price was what?
The normal price for a beer at Cleveland Municipal Stadium was 65 cents.
65 cents versus 10 cents. That's huge.
It's more than a six-fold difference. And if we adjust for inflation, that 10 cents in 1974, roughly 52 cents today.
So basically giving it away.
Pretty much. It's an almost unbelievably good deal, engineered to overcome every single barrier to attendance, the team's performance, the city's economy.
It was just too good to pass up for a lot of people.
It created this almost irresistible economic incentive. You could argue, especially for folks feeling the economic pinch, it would have felt fiscally irresponsible to stay home.
Huh, right. Why wouldn't you go, even if you weren't a huge baseball fan? Just for the deal.
Management understood the power of an extreme discount to drive traffic, and they pushed that lever to its absolute limit.
But surely they must have had some rules, some attempted control.
Well, there was a rule. Sort of. Our historical accounts mention a rather, let's say, optimistic guideline.
Okay, what was it?
You could only buy 6 beers per person per trip to the concession stand.
6 beers per trip.
6 beers per trip. And this is where the planning, or maybe the lack of it, really veers into the absurd.
How so? That sounds like a limit, sort of.
It wasn't really a restriction. It was more like an open invitation, almost a challenge, to binge drink. Think about it. How easy is it to get around that?
Just go back in line again?
Exactly. Make multiple trips. Or, as some eyewitness accounts vividly recall, people were literally downing them in the line just to be ready to buy another 6 as soon as they reached the front.
Oh my goodness.
So the dynamic actually encourages rapid consumption. You feel like you need to finish quickly to maximize the deal, get more before they run out or before the lines get too long. It turns a perceived limit into a kind of game.
A test of endurance.
Precisely. And a significant multiplier for alcohol intake.
So it's less a rule and more like a starting pistol. Go forth, thirsty masses, see how much 60 cents can buy you.
Pretty much. The sheer volume of cheap alcohol, readily available, coupled with a minimal and easily bypassed limit, created a recipe for, well, inevitable disaster.
And that disaster had a very specific opponent on the field that night, didn't it? Which didn't help.
Absolutely crucial. This wasn't just any random game. The choice of opponent significantly heightened the emotional stakes. The Indians were playing the Texas Rangers.
And there was history there, recent history.
Not just any history bad blood, as the accounts put it. Just a week prior, down in Texas, the two teams had gotten into a massive bench-clearing brawl.
Like actual fighting, punches thrown.
Oh, yeah. Players ejected, lots of animosity boiling over. So consider the mix. A city on edge, a desperate team, practically free beer.
And then you throw in a heated personal rivalry that just had a physical fight.
It's an explosive combination. A powder keg just waiting for a spark. This history meant the atmosphere was volatile before the first 10-cent beer was even poured.
Because it's not just about the game anymore, is it?
Exactly. Prior fights, especially big brawls, heightened fan emotion. It becomes about perceived injustices, getting even, defending team honor. It fuels that us versus them mentality.
Fans identify strongly with their team, see the other guys as the enemy.
And that can easily spill over into aggression, especially when lubricated by, 60,000 cups of cheap beer.
You can just feel the tension building as people arrive that night. You're buzzing for the beer, sure, but also for the chance to see their team, settle a score with the Rangers.
It transforms the game into a personal battle, a grudge match. And for a crowd already primed for escapism and emotional release,
A dangerous recipe.
very dangerous. The stage was set, the beer was flowing, and the dam of civility was about to break.
And break it did, almost immediately. The first sign this wasn't going according to plan was just the number of people.
Right. The team's desperate measure, purely from an attendance perspective. An instant, massive success.
How many people showed up?
Reports say around 25,000 Cleveland residents poured into the stadium.
25,000 compared to their usual.
Often closer to 2,000 or 3,000, so this was more than 10 times their usual attendance.
Wow. So the place was packed.
Absolutely packed. Cleveland Municipal Stadium, usually echoing and empty, was suddenly jammed. Management must have been initially thrilled.
Yeah, thinking they'd struck gold.
Little did they know, they hadn't just filled the stands, they had lit the fuse on that powder keg.
The sheer volume of people, many just there for the beer, must have changed the whole dynamic.
Completely. It overwhelmed security, concessions, everything. It created an environment just ripe for disorder.
And the trouble started early, didn't it? Not late in the game.
No, the very first inning. Reports indicate fans were already in fine form.
And what did fine form mean in this context?
It meant they started chanting insults, throwing things, and not just paper cups. They were throwing firecrackers.
Firecrackers. Into the stands and onto the field.
Yes. Loud, disorienting explosions right from the start.
That's not normal fan behavior.
Not at all. And this early rule breaking is critical psychologically. When things like throwing firecrackers aren't immediately shut down.
It signals that maybe the rules don't apply tonight.
Exactly. It emboldens the crowd, sets a new, lower standard for what's acceptable. You get this social contagion effect. Behavior spread like wildfire. And if minor disorder isn't checked, it can lead to much bigger breakdowns.
The inhibition just starts dropping rapidly.
Precise.
And the examples from that first inning, they're just wild.
Absolutely beyond belief for a professional baseball game. Accounts tell us. A woman in the Rangers bullpen ran out and flashed her breasts to the Cleveland fans.
Okay.
Then, a moment later, a naked man sprinted to second base. Right during play.
A naked man on second base.
And if that wasn't enough, another fan ran onto the field to try and have a conversation with the Rangers outfielder.
Just ran out to chat.
Apparently so. Imagine the disbelief, the surreal nature of this unfolding in the first inning.
These aren't just minor disruptions.
No, these are outright breaches of public decorum, safety, the game's integrity, the flashing, the naked guy. It speaks to an almost immediate breakdown of norms, a chaotic sense that anything goes.
The rules just vanished.
It seems like it. A perceived lack of consequences, plus booze, can lead to increasingly outrageous behavior very quickly. The atmosphere was already like a carnival of anarchy.
Before the game even got going properly. A bad sign.
A very bad sign, a foreshadowing of much worse to come.
You just have to picture settling into your seat. Maybe you've downed a couple of those 10-cent beers already, and bam, naked guy on second.
It truly beggars belief. And as astonishing as that first inning was, things only spiraled further downwards from there.
Of course they did.
Yeah. With every passing inning, the link between more alcohol and bolder crowds became terrifyingly clear.
They weren't just getting drunker.
They were getting progressively more audacious, pushing the boundaries further and further into dangerous territory.
It was predictable, in a way, but still shocking to see unfold. As the beer flowed, the filters just disappeared. Any sense of decorum, respect for authority, just evaporated.
And you really saw that escalation in what they started throwing onto the field. Accounts say they began throwing things with more enthusiasm.
Enthusiasm, that's one word for it.
A massive understatement. This enthusiasm quickly turned into a dangerous evolution of projectiles. They moved from paper cups to more substantial projectiles.
Like what?
Initially, hot dogs were a popular choice, which, is almost a metaphor in itself. Wasting food like that shows a growing disregard.
A breakdown of civility via wasted hot dogs?
Kind of, but it didn't stop there. Soon it escalated to empty glass bottles, rocks, golf balls, and yes, even batteries.
Batteries thrown at players.
Thrown onto the field where players were. The outfield wasn't just messy, it became an active hazard zone.
So players were actually dodging this stuff.
Eyewitness accounts are clear. The outfield was littered with debris, and the players were actively dodging things being thrown from the stands. This wasn't just rowdy fans anymore.
This was actively endangering people, maliciously.
Exactly. It's a sinister psychological shift. What starts as maybe drunken pranks morphs into acts that could cause serious injury. The line blurs completely.
Driven by the booze, the anonymity of the crowd.
Yeah, that concept of de-individuation, losing your sense of self, your personal responsibility in a big group, it was clearly happening.
And the audacious acts just kept coming. You mentioned a father and son.
Oh, yes. At one unforgettable point, accounts tell us, a father and son duo ran onto the field, dropped their pants, and mooned the players.
A family outing gone wild.
It underscores the complete disintegration of norms. A father and son doing that together. It shows how deep the permissiveness had gone. It's almost grotesquely comical, but deeply concerning.
A rejection of all rules.
Symbolically, yes. And amidst all this, the game was still going on, somehow.
Weren't the umpires thinking of stopping it?
They were. Our sources reveal the umpires were considering stopping the game, but the Cleveland team begged them to continue.
Why would they want it to continue?
They feared that stopping the game would just make the riot worse.
Okay, so the game, even chaotic, was a focal point.
Exactly. It provided a single focus for the crowd's energy, a last shred of structure. Ending it, they feared, would remove that focus and unleash the mob entirely. More destruction, uncontrollable violence.
A calculated risk. A desperate gamble.
Truly desperate. Betting the disrupted game was the lesser evil compared to outright anarchy.
And here's the kicker, the really ironic twist. The game itself was actually good.
Unbelievably, yes. The game was actually tied 5-5 going into the 9th inning.
Wow.
It was a genuinely tense, exciting game, which probably just added to the drunken emotional investment.
It's darkly funny. A thrilling game happening amidst total chaos.
It adds this layer of surreal, dark humor. A tied score in the 9th would hype up any crowd. But this crowd, already drunk, agitated, de-individuated,
It amplified everything to an explosive degree. Every pitch, every call.
would have been received with this exaggerated sense of consequence, priming them for an explosion.
And that explosion, inevitably, came in the 9th.
The flashpoint. The moment all that tension, booze, and frustration finally erupted into uncontainable violence. Top of the 9th, Rangers score, still tied 5-5.
Yeah.
Then, the trigger.
The controversial call.
The definitive trigger. A Cleveland player hit a sacrifice fly. Runner on third tags up, tries to score the winning run.
And
Thrown out at home plate, ending the inning.
oof. Close play at the plate to end the inning in a tie game.
And the crowd reaction, furious. They thought he was safe. That contentious, game-altering call was the spark. The perceived injustice, feeling robbed, it pushed them over the edge.
For that crowd, in that state, a close call like that is the perfect catalyst.
Absolutely. A concrete target for all the rage and frustration. Shared injustice overrides any remaining reason. It becomes collective anger,
Anonymity, alcohol.
diffuses responsibility, and then one person acts.
The unlikely hero emerges. Terry Yurkich.
Right. Accounts introduce us to a fan named Terry Yurkich, 19 years old. He reportedly decided he'd had enough. He jumped over the fence, ran onto the field,
What was he trying to do?
and tried to steal the hat right off the head of the Rangers outfielder, Jeff Burrows.
Steal his hat.
Seems so. It's that quintessential act of intoxicated bravado, right? Fueled by injustice, no inhibition, crowd fervor.
A symbolic act of defiance against the enemy.
Probably. Making a statement, taking action, maybe seeking a bizarre trophy.
So Burroughs sees this kid charging him.
Tries to defend himself. Reports say he saw him coming and tried to kick him, but he slipped and fell.
He fell, no.
And that fall, that's what truly lit the fuse. At this point, the entire Rangers team, thinking their player was being viciously attacked, grabbed their bats and charged en masse out of the dugout onto the field.
With bats.
With bats.
Yeah.
It's that raw, primal team defense instinct. They see their guy on the ground looking like he's being attacked by a fan.
The response is immediate. Protect your teammate.
Exactly. They become a unified protective unit, reacting with the tools at hand, their bats.
Okay, so Rangers charge out with bats. And this is where it gets completely surreal.
Utterly surreal, jaw-dropping still. Seeing the Rangers charge the field with bats, the Cleveland manager, Ken Aspromonte, ordered his own players to grab their bats.
To fight the Rangers, like
Well,
the
yeah.
week before.
No. And go out there not to fight the Rangers, but to defend the Rangers from their own fans.
Wait, what? The Indians grab bats to protect the Rangers
Yeah?
from the Cleveland fans.
Precisely. Two bitter rival teams, fresh off a brawl, now uniting with bats to protect each other from the home crowd.
That's unbelievable.
It's an extraordinary, deeply ironic moment, a complete breakdown of order. The Cleveland players acting as a barrier to shield the opposition from their own supporters.
It shows just how bad things were. The fan-player dynamic totally dissolved.
It's astonishing sportsmanship born not of friendship, but sheer necessity and chaos. An alliance against the common enemy, the mob.
Like something from a bizarre movie. The enemy of my enemy. Even if he's the guy you punched last week.
It just drives home how terrifyingly out of control it had all become. Absolute anarchy.
At this point, forget baseball.
Oh, long gone. What started as incidents was now a full-blown, uncontrolled stadium riot, far beyond sport.
And the field itself.
The field, just moments before a playing surface, was now flooded with thousands of fans.
Thousands. Just pouring onto the field.
A surging, screaming sea of people where a baseball game used to be. The scale is almost impossible to grasp.
A complete loss of control.
Total loss of control by security, police, everyone. The boundaries, physical, psychological, between stands and field, spectator and participant, just dissolved.
Shows how fast order can break down. The power of that de-individuated mob.
Overwhelmed any individual restraint.
And the testimony from people there. The head umpire.
Nestor Shylock, a decorated World War II veteran. He later famously said, "I've been in combat, but I've never seen anything like this. It was uncontrollable."
From a combat veteran, that's chilling.
Incredibly powerful. For someone who'd seen war, to say a baseball riot was unprecedented, it highlights the extreme danger.
And he got hit.
Yeah, he was hit by a piece of a stadium seat that a fan had ripped out and thrown.
They were ripping seats out.
Apparently so. Adds that terrifying reality. This wasn't just rowdy, it was a violent, destructive mob targeting people.
And they brought weapons. You mentioned that earlier.
Stark accounts confirm it. The fans had brought weapons, knives, chains, clubs.
Premeditated violence, then. Not just spontaneous drunken chaos.
Indicates a darker, more aggressive undercurrent. And then the mix of criminality and weird souvenir hunting.
They started stealing the bases.
Stealing the bases. How? Not just lighting into them. They physically unmoored the bases from the ground, dug them up, and ran off with them as trophies.
Dug up the actual bases, like first base, second base.
Exactly. Physically ripping them out of the ground.
That's incredible. And symbolic, you said.
Hugely symbolic. It's not just a souvenir. It's taking ownership, dismantling the game itself, claiming its core parts as spoils of the riot. Profound disrespect for baseball, property order.
I'm picturing someone weaving unsteadily out of the stadium, proudly carrying second base. It's both comical and alarming.
It truly is. And amidst this chaos, another amazing detail, the organist.
Right. What did the organist do?
The organist, in a moment of either pure genius or sheer panic, started playing Take Me Out to the Ball Game as the riot raged around him.
No way. While the riot is happening.
That's the account. It's the ultimate band playing on as the Titanic sinks moment.
Just profoundly ironic.
It is. Was it a desperate attempt at normalcy, a futile plea for calm, or just darkly comedic brilliance?
A surreal soundtrack to the apocalypse on the field.
It powerfully underscores that disconnect between the idea of baseball and the terrifying reality unfolding.
You gotta admire the commitment, though. Play on.
Play on indeed, but the game itself inevitably, mercifully, had to end.
How did they finally call it?
Historical accounts confirm the umpires had no choice. They officially declared the game a forfeit, with the win going to the Texas Rangers.
A forfeit? That's rare in baseball, isn't it?
Extremely rare. Highly significant. It's invoked when a team can't play or conditions become unplayable due to external factors like a massive riot.
So it's an official declaration.
Yeah.
Total loss of control.
Exactly. Underscored the complete breakdown and the historic nature of the riot. The final score listed, a humiliating €9 for Texas.
Ouch. And the immediate repercussions.
Arrests.
Injuries.
Swift and severe. Reports cite dozens of arrests, numerous injuries, fans, staff, players, and the league took notice quickly.
What did the league do?
The American League president, Lee MacPhail, banned any future beer promotions in Cleveland unless he personally approved them.
Just in Cleveland.
Initially, yes. A localized but stern response showed the gravity, the embarrassment. Singling out Cleveland highlighted the negative consequences and the need for league oversight. A clear message. This can't happen again without direct approval.
Trying to restore some order, prevent future disasters.
A reactive measure, but a necessary one.
And the press. How did they cover it the next day?
Oh, the press captured it perfectly. Our sources note, The Cleveland Plain Dealer newspaper headline the next day was simple and perfectly scathing. Indians lose 9-0.
That's it. Just Indians lose 9-0.
That's it. Masterclass in blunt, ironic understatement. Strips away all the chaos, the riot, injuries, stolen bases, national embarrassment, down to the cold, hard fact: a lost baseball game.
With the forfeit score adding that extra sting.
Exactly. Encapsulated the humiliation and failure even amidst the societal breakdown. A terse, understated blow, summing up a night of pandemonium.
Okay, so it was a disaster by pretty much every measure. Except maybe one. This is where it gets really weird.
Here's where the story takes yet another mind-boggling turn, where conventional business logic seems to just break. The ultimate paradox of 10-cent bear night.
Because despite the riot, the danger, the forfeit, the bad press...
From a narrow business perspective, an undeniable success. Accounts state it clearly. They sold over 60,000 cups of beer.
60,000 cups.
And crucially, the attendance was huge.
I have trouble processing that. A full-blown riot, players dodging batteries, umpires hit by seats, and financially, it's a win.
It's cynical, but yeah, more people showed up than almost any other night. They spent money on beer, even at 10 cents a pop. The immediate financial numbers looked good. Short-term gain.
It highlights that ethical dilemma, doesn't it? Short-term gain versus long-term costs.
A profound dilemma. Those costs are huge. Reputation damage, safety concerns, property destruction, league intervention. But the allure of immediate revenue and attendance can be alarmingly persuasive.
At what point does a successful promotion become too costly in other ways? Where's the line between clever marketing and just irresponsibility?
Especially when public safety is clearly compromised. Management can get caught up in just looking at the last attendance figure, not the full picture. Recency bias.
And maybe the most astonishing part, illustrating that exact point, they did it again.
They did it again. Historical records confirm, incredulously, they did it again, later that same season.
Wow. The audacity.
It suggests management focused almost entirely on those success metrics: attendance, beer sales. They must have thought the promotion itself was viable, just needed tweaking.
A real profit over all else mindset.
Seems like it. To be fair, though,
They did change something the second time.
a small concession, our sources mention. To be fair, the second time they limited it to 2 beers per person per purchase.
2 instead of 6.
Right, a mitigation effort. But did it really address the root issues? Widespread intoxication, poor crowd control.
Probably not entirely. How did the second one go?
It didn't descend into a full-scale riot like the first, but reports say it was still very rowdy. Numerous ejections, disruptive behavior, just on a smaller scale.
And attendance.
Significantly lower the second time, suggesting maybe the sheer chaos of the first one was part of the perverse draw for some. Rein it in even slightly, and the appeal diminishes.
So not a repeat of the anarchy, but not exactly a calm night at the ballpark either.
Definitely not. Shows them trying to dial back the chaos while clinging to the flawed premise: cheap beer equals crowds. The real lessons seemed hard to learn.
Yet despite all the negativity, the violence, the embarrassment, this event has become legendary in Cleveland sports lore.
It really has. Our sources say it's a point of pride in a weird way. A symbol of a frustrated city letting off some steam.
How does that happen? How does a riot become a point of pride?
It's fascinating, isn't it? Human nature, collective memory. Disastrous events can get romanticized, absorbed into local culture. It becomes a shared story, a unique identifier, even if rooted in chaos.
People find pride or identity in these extraordinary, even catastrophic moments.
Yeah, transforming shame into symbols of resilience, defiance, or maybe just stubbornness. It becomes part of the city's collective memory, a folk narrative binding the community.
And those specific details, Terry Yerkick's Hat Quest.
The organist playing through the riot.
The mooning father and son.
Those almost mythic details get retold, passed down, woven into the city's identity.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What chaotic or embarrassing events in your own local history have morphed into quirky points of pride?
It's a powerful reminder. Even in breakdowns, people find a story, reshape it, find identity in it.
For Cleveland, 10-cent beer night became this strange, defiant emblem, a city pushed to its limits, reacting in its own unique way.
It speaks volumes about our capacity to reframe events, find meaning, find shared experience, even in terrifying moments, transforming raw experience into cultural lore.
So we've navigated the perfect storm. Cleveland 74, the disastrously brilliant idea, the descent into anarchy, the bizarre aftermath, the forfeit, and this complex legacy.
Quite a ride.
It's a tale with everything. Desperation, absurdity, chaos, and that strange civic pride.
And what it teaches us is profound, really. About crowd control's delicate balance, the ethical tightrope of promotions, the unpredictable nature of human behavior when inhibitions drop and frustrations
A
rise.
cautionary tale for sure.
Absolutely, but also a fascinating look into a singular moment when all the guardrails just spectacularly fail.
And it leaves you with that provocative question, right? What does it truly say about us, about human nature, that an event so chaotic, so damaging, can be remembered 50 years later with this weird mix of horror, disbelief, and perverse pride?
Hmm.
Or maybe more pointedly, next time you're at a game, how far would you genuinely go for a 10-cent beer?
Food for thought indeed. This story is a vivid, unforgettable reminder that even the best laid plans, especially involving big crowds and cheap booze, can go spectacularly, maybe even gloriously awry.
And history often remembers the outrageous moments, doesn't it?
Perhaps perversely it often does, with a peculiar fondness.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most infamous nights in sports history. We hope you'll reflect on the insights, and maybe next time you see a bargain that looks too good to be true.
Think twice about the true cost. Until next time, stay curious, think critically, and maybe, just maybe, opt for water.